Yes, from today.
Did he do good?
He finished third today.
Oh, he's real good.
Well,
Like,
I
he's
know
won
he
the lead
is.
series. It's back in the day when it was a real lead series.
I know, but I'm
Just chalk it up to a fail, bro.
just chalk it up to this pool of anglers.
It's pretty crazy.
Welcome back to Fish Life Podcast, ladies and gents. My left, your right. Your Lake Fork guy, Billy Lawson.
What up, what up?
I'm Chris Blackman.
That's right.
Business attire today because we ain't messing around.
We ain't messing around. That's right. We're going to talk about current conditions of fishing up here in the Lake Fork, at Lake Fork and other lakes in the area of Northeast Texas. Current fishing conditions. We'll cover that as always. We're going to talk about MLF. The tour level tournament fishing is back, baby.
Heavy hitters, baby.
It's back. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to speak to a very, very special guest near and dear to my own heart. A gentleman named Mr. Cody Mays, who is what you might call a Gold Star brother. A Gold Star brother. His brother actually lost his life, gave his life in Afghanistan, serving our great country. We're going to talk to Cody about his brother, and we're going to actually, as long as I can coordinate everything, I'm going to try to get something, either veterans or families of veterans, on the podcast for the next several weeks, because we have a very special event coming up July 4th and 5th. We're doing a tournament to benefit the organization known as 22 Kill, which is a great nonprofit organization that goes to preventing veteran suicide. So many guys struggle when they get home. 22 Kill is as good an organization as out there in helping those guys out in so many different ways. They are way more deep than I ever thought they were. We started digging into them before when we were deciding which military charity we wanted to donate to with this tournament. They do everything great. They really limit their overhead so that they can give as much money as they can to the cause. Really big fan of what 22 Kill is doing over there. So shout out to them. Thank them for doing what they do. And we're going to work as hard as we can on this tournament to make it a big event, make it a lot of fun for you guys, but most importantly, where we can raise as much money as possible to help 22 Kill do what they do best, which is help our veterans, right?
That's right.
And we're going to do it July 4th, which is really cool, right? Because on the day that we're going to celebrate our independence, let's celebrate our independence. And let's give back to those who have maintained that independence. So that's the whole deal there. It's going to be called the Fish Life Forever Grateful Tournament. Saturday, July 4th. It's really going to be two tournaments in one.
That's right. Saturday,
July 4th, we're going to have an open team tournament, $100 entry. Anybody can register. Anybody. Team tournaments, $100 per team, per boat. And it'll be a 70% payback, so you will have a chance to win some money. 30% of those entry fees will go to 22 Kill. Then we will also have an auction after the weigh-in. We'll have at the weigh-in. We'll have an auction. We'll have some donated items. I know Whiskey Myers giving us some cool stuff, maybe a signed guitar, something like that. We're gonna have some really cool stuff from fishing equipment wise. Also, we're gonna have some tackle bundles, all kinds of things to auction off. We're also going to have a second tournament on Sunday, July 5th. This is going to be a guides tournament. Okay, so you're going to get to fish with the guide of your choice on Sunday. Now, the way that you're going to acquire this guide is we're going to have a silent auction at the weigh-in. We're going to announce everybody that's involved, all the guides that we have listed, and you'll be able to go there and place a bid and have a silent auction to see which guide you fish with as a tournament partner on Sunday. Sunday's tournament format will be MLF. Everything over 2 pounds counts. We're going to weigh them in the boat, let them go. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be for fun and for a good cause on Sunday. The Saturday format, however, will be your typical stringer tournament on Lake Fork. Slot rules, state regulations do apply. We're working as hard as we can to get a good flyer out, good registration form. Hopefully we'll have all that stuff done by the end of this week so you guys can start getting registered. We'll definitely appreciate every one of you that comes out to participate in that event in any capacity that you can. Show up for the auction, just bid, make somebody bid up, whatever it is. You don't have to spend any money, but cause other people to spend more money. That would be great.
Come hang out, show appreciation.
Come hang out, show moral support, man.
That's right.
Keep the morale up.
That's right.
Keep the troop morale going.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That would be great as well. We would love to meet as many of you as possible. So that's going on. All right. Chris. Boy, you got all fancied up for this podcast. Look at you, son.
Like that, man?
For the folks that are just listening on the podcast,
you,
on the audio format, the audible format, hut. Omaha. My man is wearing a collared shirt.
Khakis.
He's wearing Jared from State Farm khakis.
Pleated khakis.
That's right. And one of the fanciest belts I've ever seen.
Yeah, boy.
That's the best part of the whole uniform that you got going there is that belt.
Yeah, you like that?
My man came straight from the office job.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I heard peach is a good color on me, so I figured why not wear it to the podcast tonight.
Where people can't actually see you wearing peach. That's a great idea.
It complements my skin tone.
It complements your skin tone.
Yeah.
We have gone way above my pay grade as far as fashion issues.
Well, baseball started back up, so I've been coaching. I'm getting my tan back on. peach and the tan, they contrast. I mean, we're spot on, dude.
I don't know if I'd go as far as say you're looking good, but you're looking better. You're looking better.
That's a step in the right direction.
That's right. That's right. Current conditions are you need to go fishing real early because it's hot. And it has nothing to do with whether the fish are going to bite in the middle of the day or not, but you need to go fishing early because after about 9:30, you ain't going to want to be out there.
Now your tennis shoes are going to melt to deck your boat.
Dog, it has been so stinking hot. Hey, all kidding aside, it's the best thing that can happen. Now, what it did cause over the last week, during last week, what it caused was a little bit of a conundrum where it started getting so hot so fast, the water temp started climbing so fast, it made these fish move. It made a lot of fish transition and move around, which made last week a challenge.
Right.
We caught some good fish, but man, was it hard to stay on anything. Like, you just, spots you were catching them on, now they're gone. Like, you had to, man, I ran more gas through the boat last week than I normally do by twice as much. It was a challenging week to stay on fish. Numbers were down, you know.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when the water level does, or whenever the temperature does what it was doing, the bait moves too.
Everything moves.
Everything.
Whenever you have a sudden change in the water column, whether it be temperature, level, anything, we've talked about this before. Your best friend as a fisherman is stability.
Correct.
Okay, you can give me real hot, you can give me real cold, you can give me anything in between.
Just make it constant.
Give me any level you want to, but if you give me stability, okay, now I can start patterning fish and kind of calling my shots, and I can build on it day after day. When everything's changing every single day and it changes fast, boy, it makes it a challenge because it makes the fish change.
That's right.
And so we dealt with that a little bit last week, but things are settling in. They're going to get better. You guys coming up this weekend, man, the summertime patterns are really starting to settle in now, okay? So that offshore bite's going to keep getting better throughout the week. Even that backwater, shallow water, summertime bite is going to continue to get better throughout the week. So things are really starting to settle into summer patterns. That is a good thing. That is
Correct.
a good thing. I think we're going to have, we always film this on Sunday.
Right.
So I have the whole week ahead of me. I think we're going to have a really good week this week. I think it'll get better as the week goes on.
I think so too. Because you're getting to more of a constant.
Yeah, I mean, that's the deal. I mean, the current conditions are you need to start looking in those traditional summertime humps. The offshore humps, ledges, pond dams, points, all that stuff. Fish all that. You know, run your offshore structure, graph around, look for fish on your electronics. But also, them fish that don't have that deep option, that are way back in that creek, they got to start sucking down into those creek channel drains in the back of those creeks.
That's right.
That can get real good right now, too.
Don't be afraid to get on them grass flats first thing in the morning, neither.
Even in the middle of the day, bro, I'm telling you now, people looked at, I've made a living off people overlooking this because it lets me fish unused water in the summer a lot.
Right.
But I'm telling you, those fish that live so far back in the creek, they're not going to make it all the way down to the main lake.
Right.
All that happens to them is they condense in these small little areas in the deepest water in a given flat.
Mm-hmm.
They'll condense in there, get grouped up just like the offshore fish do on the south end, only they can't roam on you. They got nowhere to go. They're there every day.
Ditches, drains.
Yeah, man. Them creek channels in the back of them creeks are good in the summertime. So, as far as the techniques go, a frog's real good early in the morning around that grass. But throughout the day, things like a chatterbait and a swim bait and weightless plastics working that grass all summer long. Offshore, things like a Carolina rig, a big jig, a deep diving crankbait. That big shaggy head's probably the big heavy shaggy head with that big straight tail worm, probably my best, most consistent bait throughout the summer. Every year it seems like.
It's one of my favorite days to throw in the summer.
You were there the day we launched it. We caught
That's
100 pounds in 5 hours, my man. It was unbelievable.
That thing made an impact that stuck.
Yes, sir. Big perm.
Oh, man.
Oh, big perm.
Man.
Big worm, big perm. Yeah, so that's a great bait. So there's the current conditions. Now, I want to move into this. We're going to call Mr. Cody Mays right now. He's a very good friend of mine. He's become a very good friend of mine over the last couple of years. And he's a fan of what we do here. I'm a fan of what he does, who he is, and who his family is. His brother, like I said, sacrificed his life in Afghanistan, serving our great country. And we're going to talk to Cody a little bit about his brother tonight, because as we gear up to get towards this veteran benefit tournament, I want to focus on things that I feel like we probably should focus on a little bit more. And the people that keep this country maintain the independence. I guess for me, I was so fresh out of the Marine Corps. I got out of the Marine Corps in 2009. There was a period of time there where I wasn't comfortable even mentioning it in public, because I didn't want anybody to think that I wanted credit, because I don't. I didn't do anything. I had it so easy compared to guys like Cody's brother Chauncey did. So I didn't feel comfortable even mentioning it. I'm just now kind of getting around to the point where I'm comfortable. Okay, listen, obviously people don't think I'm asking for credit. People that have watched this know where my stance is. But it is important to me to use the platform that we've been able to build, the small platform we've been able to build, to honor and bring awareness to exactly how extreme some of the sacrifices are that some people do for this country. You people that are out there living every day free in this country, and most of you listen to this show, y'all are very patriotic people. But even those of us that are very patriotic, do we really understand what goes on a day-to-day basis to keep us free? I don't know that we do. I don't know that I do. And I know a lot of them personally, and I don't know that I do a very good job of really understanding what people are doing every single day to make sure that we get to live our lives the way we do. Despite all the unrest in our country, politics and all that, we're not going to get into that. We still live in the greatest, most free, economically sound nation on earth.
That's right.
There is no debate to that. We are blessed. You couldn't pick anywhere better to live on earth, and there's not even an argument. And it's because of people like Chauncey Mays that will do what they do. So let's call up Cody and let's talk about it a little bit. Let's honor Mr. Chauncey Mays a little bit.
Yeah.
Cody Mays.
Hey, bud.
My man, how you doing, sir?
Oh, good, man. How are you?
Man, we're doing just great. I got my buddy Chris Blackman here with me. Now, listen, we're going to talk about your brother, but we are going to keep things lighthearted around here because that's what we do.
That is what we do.
And so we have two questions that we ask every interview. Every time we get a phone interview on this podcast, we ask the guests two questions. Chris, hit him with some questions.
All right, now no pressure, but I hope you answer them right. So the first one being Biggie or Tupac?
Oh, Tupac.
Come on.
Tupac, there it
Come
is.
on.
All right.
And if you could bring back a hairstyle, what hairstyle would you bring back?
The Chili Bowl.
Come on,
chili
I had a chili bowl in second grade. Let's go.
Yeah, that's my boy CB. He used to rock that chili bowl once upon a time.
I call it more like a salad bowl, but it was a bowl.
The chili bowl's a pretty good answer. I like that one.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. I like it because it's not mullet. And it's not that I'm against the mullet as an answer.
We've gotten 8 mullet answers.
It's like 80% of the people we ask this say mullet. So, but it's a bunch of redneck fishermen usually. So, now Cody, I know, man, you're into the fishing world. You fish a lot, and you do a lot of these smaller tournaments, and even the bigger tournaments around here. You fish a ton, but I know you do. And normally
Yes,
we
sir.
talk about a lot of fishing stuff, but you're aware of this tournament we got going on. You know what it's all about. We've told the viewers. And my deal is every week on the podcast until we have this tournament, I'm going to try to talk to either a veteran or a family member of a veteran. And you certainly fit that bill. Your brother, Chauncey Mays, sacrificed his life serving in Afghanistan. And
Yes.
tell me a little bit about Chauncey, man. What kind of guy was Chauncey growing up?
Oh, man, he was all about the outdoors, fishing, hunting. Man, we used to go down to the river all the time, canoeing for a 3-day trip, just catching smallies out of the river. Oh man, it was a blast. But man, he just anything outdoors, cars. He was into racing. I mean, you name it. Just he was just a manly man. You know what I mean? So he was something spectacular.
I do know what you mean. Now, you getting to grow up with Chauncey, was there any clues, heads up to the fact that Chauncey was gonna go the route he went as far as volunteering to serve in the Army?
Well, no, there really wasn't. He had his mindset on mechanic, and when he was younger, he actually got diagnosed with cancer. And then one day we were at church, and the pastor was preaching over him and praying for him, and preacher got done, and he said that one day that Chauncey would be a soldier of Christ. And all these years, we didn't really know what that what that meant. And I still don't think it's what he did in the Army. But now that he's gone, I really do believe that he is a soldier of Christ. And man, he's always taking care of folks, so I know he's up there and he's taking care of all the veterans that he can. Talking to people over there overseas, they still say that they can feel his presence. It's pretty powerful, touching deal. He actually didn't want to join the military until I started talking about it, and because that was my lifelong goal was to join. And whenever he got a little bit older, and he actually went up there and talked to the recruiter, and they talked him into taking the test. And he scored so high, and he wanted to go in as a mechanic. That's all he wanted to do. And they said, "Well, Bud, you scored too high. You need to really apply yourself to something else." And they asked him, "What would you like to do?" And he's like, "I don't know." And the recruiter said, "How would you like to blow crap up?" And Chauncey was like, "Yeah, you got me on that one." And then he fell in love with it. He was going to retire from it.
They appealed to his inner redneck right there is what they did.
That's exactly what it is.
So how old was Chauncey when he signed up?
He was 17 when he signed up.
17 when he signed up, man. So he went early. He went right off the bat. Now, Chauncey goes in and he goes. Was he under the EOD MLF? That was what he was designated.
Yes, sir. Yep.
That'd be explosive ordnance disposal for those that aren't familiar with military terms, which is, my experience over there in Iraq, man. That's some of the most important people you got because we started this war, a two-front war overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan. And we faced something that we just really hadn't, on a scale that we hadn't faced. And now, in Vietnam, they had improvised explosive devices, but not on the scale and the magnitude and the volume of what we were facing in Iraq. We go over there, we run through the country, we take it over, everything's good. And then as we're sitting there trying to help these countries establish democracy, establish a way of life after we take their whole leadership out of place, the enemy doesn't fight us like we're used to people fighting us. It's an insurgency. And they'll fire a shot at you, but they won't get in just a straight up gunfight with you because they're going to lose real bad. And so they start resorting to making these improvised explosive devices on a different scale than we'd ever seen. And we're rolling around, back right before I got there, guys were rolling around in what we call thin skin Humvees. It's just a metal frame Humvee with canvas doors. I mean, there's nothing to protect you from explosives or bullets or anything. And these IEDs had great effectiveness in the very beginning. And then we started getting up armor. We started learning how to deal with them better. But still, we have foot patrols getting hit with them, everything else. Like they were still a problem. And really, that's where the EOD, the explosive ordnance disposal guys, come in. Because now, anytime that we find an improvised explosive device, these guys have to go out there, sometimes in a hot area, sometimes in an area where we're taking rounds, and they've got to go out there and safely diffuse or dispose of these bombs that are set up underneath the gravel wherever they put them, that are set up there to kill multiple U.S. troops at a time, cause mass casualties. And so they take a lot of risk on multiple fronts. A, they're out there in the worst of the worst. Wherever the worst fighting is, they're going to be there, so they're taking rounds downrange like that. B, they're going to go to the biggest bomb that's supposed to kill the most soldiers, and they're going to walk right up to it sometimes. Sometimes they have robot equipment and all that, but sometimes they got to walk right up to it. I mean, these EOD guys, they're as hardcore gets. They are as valuable to our military in a modern battlefield as anybody in any of our military.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Chauncey joins the Army, goes EOD, and forgive me because we've talked over this story once before, but I don't remember all of the details. This was not his first deployment. His first deployment, he went and came home. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah, he actually did three deployments. He did 2 in Iraq, and then 1 in Afghanistan. And the very first one was the first time that he actually had to go. The other 2 times he actually volunteered to go. The second time he was deployed with the Navy SEAL team out of Oklahoma. He did a 16-month stint with them. Came back. I think he was back maybe 6 months, and then switched bases and then volunteered to go with another. I think it was the 110th Mountain Division. I think. And went with them to Afghanistan.
Okay.
So
when was his first deployment to Iraq?
It was 2006.
That's the exact same time I was in Iraq the first time. I was in Iraq in 2006 the first time. So yeah, I know exactly what was going on, and the EOD work was at a peak at that moment. It was a lot of work on his first deployment. I guarantee you, he was a busy man. So he goes to the first deployments to Iraq. He goes to this new unit and he goes to Afghanistan, and gets through the deployment, and is really, if I remember this correctly, he was through his deployment. He was set to come back. Was that what you told me?
Well, he was actually set to come back on his R&R for 2 weeks because he was actually at a forward operating base that was in the mountains. I think it was like a camp of maybe 200 or 300 soldiers.
Okay.
There was no roads in, so it was a pretty hot zone. He was supposed to be coming back for his R&R, but he was the squad leader, and all the guys that had gone with him, this was all their first deployment for that EOD group.
Right.
And once he got up to that forward operating base, and he seen how bad it was, whenever, I think it was the captain that called him and told him that, they were going to send in a helicopter to come get him for his 2-week R&R, and he told him no. He's like, I'm not going to let you send somebody in here that's never dealt with this kind of stuff to where they get killed. So he kind of, disobeyed his orders, but that's just how he felt. And he's kind of like me. He's bullheaded. Once he makes his mind up, that's how it's going to be. So
he refused his R&R because he was worried about the well-being of the men he was deployed with.
Yeah.
And then best you can, man, tell us the story of what happened when he was there after he refused R&R.
Okay, so it was about a week after he was supposed to be on his R&R. It was at the end of his they were doing laundry. He called me. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning here, I believe. He was telling me, to go with his wife and help her get a new car. Don't let her get, yanked around by salesmen or whatever. And about that time, it came over the radio that he had a call. So he told me to look after his wife, take care of his girls, and he'd call me back. Well, it was probably, I think it was maybe an hour after that whenever it happened. But so the infantry, the ground unit went out, and they were patrolling, and they spotted what they thought was an IED, so they called it in. Chauncey and another EOD team member walked to the location. They didn't have their bomb suits or robots because, like I said, there's no roads there. They had to go everywhere on foot. So they say he took out his metal detector and was wandering the ground. And they're always told, do not take the easiest path to the IED because that, you always come in from the hardest way possible because that's less likely to get you. So he come in, he was wandering the ground, the metal detector went off. Whenever the metal detector went off, he went down to his knees to get a visual of what was under the dirt, and whenever he swapped the ground, the bomb exploded. It was pressure plated. And whenever it exploded, it obviously it killed him instantly, and then his team member that was, 30 feet behind him took shrapnel, and he passed away 30 minutes later.
So for the people that are listening, I need you guys to contemplate what that man just did. First, he refused to go on vacation that he had earned doing the hardest job on earth. And then he walked up to a bomb that's designed to kill multiple U.S. soldiers with no bomb suit, no robot. He just starts walking across the ground looking for it. Then when he finds it, without hesitation, drops to his knees and tries to uncover it so he can make sure and disable this bomb to protect others around him. And unfortunately for him, it was a pressure plate bomb that got him. Now, that's a risk that he knew he was taking when he did that. I know these guys. He knew the risk he was taking when he reached down and touched that ground. Like, without a doubt. He knew exactly what could happen when he reached down and touched that dirt. But he did it without hesitation, without thinking about it, because it was so much more important to him to make sure that he did everything he could to take care of this bomb to protect the others around him. Everything this man did in his life, from volunteering for multiple deployments, volunteering for the military before his brother had a chance to join, volunteering to stay home and not, or stay, in country and not go on R&R, took the call that night without hesitation, went straight out there. Like, everything this man did was with zero thought for self-preservation, only thinking of others. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't know what everybody believes that's listening to this, but I know what I believe. I know what Cody believes. I know what Chris believes. And here on this channel, what we believe is we believe in our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And I got to tell you guys something right now. There's nothing that the Bible demands more of you as a Christian than you love God and love others and serve God and serve others above yourself. There's no finer example of loving and serving others than the story you just heard about Chauncey Mays. He is as fine of a Christian as anybody y'all have ever heard of, whether you know it or not. He probably cussed and drank because that's what most of us high-speed, low-drag guys do, right? Like, I get it. But in action, what he did in his life was to serve others, and that's what matters. And Chauncey deserves, and his family deserve, all of our love and gratitude and respect, and most importantly, they deserve all of our remembrance that we can muster up. So you guys are listening to this podcast right now. Y'all do me one favor. You do not ever, not for 1 second, you ever forget the name Staff Sergeant Chauncey Mays. It's one you need to remember. You need to tell your kids that there's people in this world like Chauncey Mays that are out there doing things for others that allow us to go fishing this weekend.
That's right.
To have the freedom to go to a job and pay our bills and choose what we want to do for a living. Cody, I know that story's hard for you to get out. We've talked about it before. I appreciate you going through all those details and sharing that with our viewers, man. Now, Chauncey was survived by some family members. Now, he had a wife and a daughter, correct?
Wife and 2 daughters.
Wife and 2 daughters. I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
How old are the daughters now?
Oh, Lord, you're going to get me in trouble.
Okay.
12 or 14 and 12, I believe.
Okay. And how is Chauncey's family? Everybody good?
Yeah, everybody's good. So
that's good. Well, I know they've got the rest of your family as a great support system, man. And from the bottom of our hearts, dude. And I've told you this before, and I know I speak for Chris and everybody that I work with. We're all on the same page, man. Dude, we will never thank you and your family enough.
Well, I appreciate it, but he died doing what he loved. I can't be mad at him. So he don't want nobody, to pity him. That's for sure. Right. But it's great to know that people still care and remember him. You wouldn't believe the support we get every year. Yeah. It's humbling.
Well,
so
we certainly won't ever forget him around here. I guarantee you, my family, as long as my family is alive, his name won't be forgotten. I'll promise you that, my man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, buddy. All right, buddy. Well, hey, man, we're going to get back to talking about fishing, and me and you are actually going fishing tomorrow. So I will see you dark and early, my man.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Looking forward to it. Y'all take care.
All right, brother. Thank you.
See you, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.
Most important thing we can talk about. Second most important thing we can talk about ever on this podcast.
That's right.
For me, is that conversation we just had. And we're going to do that every week going forward. We're going to try to find a veteran or family of a veteran to talk to about their experiences serving this country. And I don't think there's anything else I can add to it that will bring any value. You really can't add to that. That's obviously a very special man, special family.
Just when you're out there playing a round of golf, when you're driving your kids to soccer practice, when you can go and fishing on a Saturday, just remember stuff like that, because there's people doing things for you that you don't even see and you can't even imagine. And
stories just like his go on all the time.
Correct.
All the time. They don't always end with the bomb exploding. The funny thing is, there's stories just like his that end in a good way that happen every single day.
Correct.
Right.
It's
sometimes it takes the negative to make it a big deal, but there's guys doing the exact same thing Chauncey did and coming out with a good outcome, not getting that unfortunate break, and they're doing it every day. And they're willing to do it time and time again. How many missions on 3 deployments? How many bombs had Chauncey disabled?
Yeah.
How many had he found and disabled that nobody ever knew about? But that's the one we know about, so. Yeah, man. So with that being said, we're going to transition back into some fishing here, and you know what? Tournament fishing, tour level tournament fishing, the big dog. It's finally back. And the beautiful thing is, like, now it's going, and it's going to go all the way through November, and then it's going to pick back up in January. And we ain't going to have, we're going to do it through November, then we're going to do Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then we'll be right back to tournament fishing.
Dude,
it's going to be awesome.
Not to make light of the coronavirus or anything, because that was a bad deal, or is a bad deal, but this is the best thing fishing wise that's happened to us in a long time.
It's going to be a pretty cool long stretch of tournament fishing,
and like we've talked about before, we can see in fish lakes at certain times of the year we've never seen before.
We're seeing it right now. So the one that's going on right now is the MLF heavy hitters on the Kissimmee chain.
Correct.
Kissimmee chain in Florida. I've personally I don't remember any June tournaments in Florida ever. Normally the Florida tournaments are February, March, maybe.
I was going to say March at the latest.
Yeah,
Usually. Yeah.
It's February, sometimes even January.
Right.
And that's when those bass spawn down there, so that's when they do it. But man, it's really cool watching them fish in June. There's certainly some different stuff going on as far as what the leaders are doing and everything. So it's been interesting, and I think we're going to get a year full of interesting dynamics. You know, some of these tournaments are going to line up like, you know, the summer tournaments on Cayuga and St. Clair. We kind of know what to expect there.
We get it.
But Lake Fork in the fall, that's going to be awesome to see how that goes down,
That's
right?
gonna be
You know?
sweet.
And then this one right now is really cool. And we got Eufaula.
You follow next week for BASS?
Well, from when we're filming it, Eufaula starts here in just a few days.
Well, yeah,
So
that's true.
Eufaula's going to start here in just a few days from when we're filming. So right after this airs, Eufaula starts.
Wednesday.
Right now, we've had the first 2 days of the qualifying round for the heavy hitters of the Bass Pro Tour.
Okay,
So, day one, look, Zach Bird stole the show, bro. He stole the show. Like, that catch where he was like, hey, what's the penalty if I get out and go get this fish? And he's like, power pole down. Boom, jumps in and just walks across that little point of grass.
It ended up being a 4-pounder.
And gets it. Dude, that was so cool, man. That was, I know, like, traditional bass tournament fans are probably like, as against the rules, he should be disqualified. I don't care. I think it was awesome. I think it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, how could you be mad at that? He
I don't
literally asked, hey, how much trouble am I going to
Well,
get if I do
traditionally in
this?
tournaments, if you get out of the boat, you're disqualified.
Right. But, I mean, he just asked. He said, hey, how much trouble am I going to
Oh,
get
he just played by the rules that were
And they're like, oh,
right.
3-minute penalty. And he was like, boop, see you later.
Yeah, he didn't make the rules. He just made the decision to break it.
That's right. Hey,
Because the
man,
penalty wasn't,
I get it.
I thought it was awesome. I think I like that rule. It doesn't disqualify you because you know what? Some of the coolest catches are like they get one hung up on a dock and they just jump in and like dive down under the water. Remember when Jeff Creed did that in the old MLF Summit Cup? He hung one up on a dock and like dove down and went like underwater to get the fish off the dock and landed it.
You remember?
It took his 3-minute penalty.
Well, and obviously different trail, but you remember the Lee Livesey catch last year?
Well, yeah, but he couldn't get out of the boat.
Well, I understand that.
But that was pretty crazy.
But, you know.
And I don't know how deep that
Numbers.
water was, so I don't know if he would have got out of the boat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not getting out of the water.
You're not, especially in Florida with the gators. You
Yeah,
definitely
no.
wouldn't get in the water.
No.
I would. I'm not scared of gators.
Well, maybe where
Snakes, though?
Burge was.
But like if I saw a snake, I'd been like, no, I'm out.
See, but
bro.
where Burge was fishing, he could have seen any gator that was around.
Yeah, and that's true because Zach Burge is fishing water that's ankle deep, I guess would be the appropriate terminology.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what Burge is fishing because it's really kind of cool. What he's doing is getting back in these feeder creeks and fishing current. Like he had that one where that water was dumping in that he started on. Like he's going back and finding these areas of condensed current, funneled current where the current flows stronger. And hey, it's Florida, it's summertime, and current creates oxygen. Anywhere that current's funneled down, it makes that current harder, that's going to be the maximum oxygen. We talk about it in the summertime a lot. Oxygen's of key importance. It's the most important thing for those fish in the summertime in hot climates.
That's right.
Man, he zeroed in on that and got it going on, dude, and whipped on him yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
57 pounds, and he's got a pretty good lead going on. Read us some day one results from the top down.
So, I'll give you the top 10. We got Zach Burge at 5307, 17 total fish. Big is 5'8". Brian Thrift in second. Now listen to this gap, 3607.
So Zach Burge figured out a deal and way better than anybody else had. What really was shocking to me was he caught 17 fish, and then what was Thrifty at? 12?
12.
And then 11. So he caught 5 more fish than anybody else in the field did.
That's right.
That's pretty wild.
And then big fish for Thrifty was 313. Let's see, Gary Klein, 3106. 11 fish for 402 with his big. John Murray. See you, hand.
John Murray had 2 7-pound 13, exactly 7-pound 13-ounce fishes, like back to back.
Yep.
And he was like, they're not the same fish because one had a big black mark and one didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he catches a 713, he's got a big black mark on it. Then he catches a 713, he's like, is that the same? Wait, it doesn't have that black mark. I guess they're twin sisters.
Yeah.
Because those fish looked identical besides that black mark. It was crazy.
So he caught 6 fish, 713 being big, but he did it
I
twice.
wonder if that fish just went down there and like put some little cover-up makeup on that deal or something. I don't know.
Maybe so.
It's weird. Those fish look freakishly alike.
Easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl.
Right.
In fifth
Those
place,
fish look a lot alike.
In fifth place, we got Mr. Jordan Lee for 2505 on 6 fish,
Joe Lee.
613 being the big.
Oh, 6 cents man.
That's right. Justin Lucas at 6th, 20 pounds 5 ounces on 4 fish with an 8.3 anchor. Pretty good. He's on the way
How'd
to
you
a
like to
heck of a
be?
tournament
How'd you
site.
like to be Justin Lucas? You catch an 8-pound 3-ounce fish, pulls you into the lead for big bass, and literally like 10 minutes after that, Brent Ayler catches 8.6 to knock you out by 3 ounces. Like 10 minutes after he caught it, bro.
See, but what I was pretty impressed with was, Justin Lucas put 4 in the boat over 2 pounds, and he's got 20 pounds.
Right. That's a big average.
Yeah.
It's a real big average.
Casey Ash. Oh, Jacob Wheeler. So Jacob Wheeler finished 7th in Group A qualifying, and he had 5 fish for 1910 with 511 as his big fish. Well, what y'all don't understand is he struggled for the first half of the
And
tournament.
bring it home all at the end.
Right at the end, he had a little flurry, and so he just did Jacob Wheeler things. Is basically what I'm trying
He's
to say.
never out of it. I can tell you that. That guy is never out of it.
So Casey Ashley in 8th with 19.6 on 5 fish. Kelly Jordan, okay, Jay. 9th, 7 fish for 17.15, and then Boyd Duckett rounding out the top 10 with 17.11 on 6. So,
Oh, Boyd getting in there.
for the time of year it is, and I guess it's just because we've never seen anything on
We don't know what
Kissimmee.
to expect.
The numbers were a lot less than I anticipated.
But they're having that same heat wave that we're having.
That's true, but
You know?
I don't know.
Here's what you got to remember. Not only have we not seen tournaments this time of year, the vast majority of these guys have never fished in Florida this time of year.
Correct.
Because they're fishing the Tennessee River or north by this time of year. So these guys, just for their whole lives, have never, this is all new to them too.
Yeah, I mean you're right, but it's just mind blowing because us as anglers, sometimes we go out and get 4-5 bites a day, and we're like, man, this sucks.
Well, listen, I've spoke to this for a long time. There's a big misconception. People think, even guys like myself that are they're full-time fishing guys that make their living fishing, people think that all of especially the good ones just go out there and catch them every day.
Yeah, well, I know.
Hey, let me tell you something. If you were to go back and look at Lee Livesey's Facebook feed from 2016 to 2018, you'd be like, this dude catches a 30-pound bag every single day. That's what you would think. But the Bassmasters came here last year in early May.
Right.
Pretty good time to catch fish.
Yeah.
Brandon Cobb caught almost a 30-pound bag average over 4 days to win it. And on the second day, Lee had 4 fish for 8 pounds. Here's the newsflash, folks. We don't catch them every day.
That's right.
Here's the other newsflash. These fish don't bite good most days. Most days, we're having to make these fish bite. They're not just feeding. That's the case. I think that people see the highlights. They see the big fish catches, and those are great. Yes, it is a major accomplishment to catch a 40-pound bag anytime. It's a major accomplishment to catch a 30-pound or a 25-pound bag any day. That's a big deal. Guess what? It doesn't happen every day.
That's right.
You might get on a run where it happens 5, 6, 7 days in a row, but it doesn't happen every day that you catch a 25, 30-pound bag. It just doesn't.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's just a humbling.
And then you put people on a fishery that has had some spray and stuff going on over the last year, and at a time of year they're unfamiliar with, and with a big heat wave hitting them, temperatures transitioning there just like they are here. And yeah, you put those guys on challenging conditions, guess what? They're not superhuman.
Right.
They don't catch all the fish in the pond. Rarely do people see, and here's what's going to happen. The few people that are listening to this are getting this perspective. But what's going to happen is people are going to say, 57 pounds in a day, man, that's awesome. Dang. 3 or 4 8-pounders, couple of 7, 13, 5, 6, almost 8-pound fish. Man, them boys are catching them. Look about halfway down that field and tell me how they catching them, because they really aren't. They really aren't.
Most of the field has caught 5 or less fish in both qualifying days.
Right.
Just let me set
They're
the record
really
straight.
not busting them at all.
Right. And, also I will say, too, there is no telling how many they caught under 2 pounds. I will say that, too, because those
Fair
are
enough.
not documented.
Fair enough.
So, that,
Right.
weigh that into your argument, too, I guess. But over 2 pounds, so
Well,
2 pound average on a big fish lake.
Back in the day when I was, fishing some small tournaments around here, and when I first started guiding, man, my deal was if I caught 5 keeper-sized fish every day, I was like, that's a good day.
Yeah.
Any day you can catch 5 keeper-sized fish, you've had a decent day. You get up around here, you get up to the 20-pound bag, okay, you've had a good day. You get to a 25-pound bag, you've had a really good day. 30-pound bag is great. Anything over that is like, wow. That was kind of my barometer, and to some extent still is. Now, granted, over the years I've gotten a little bit more demanding of myself because I make my living doing it now. I kind of want to catch, like, if I don't catch a 20-pound bag or close to it, I'm pretty disappointed in that day now.
Yeah, I guess.
But there's plenty of days where I'm disappointed.
I guess I set my bar at if I catch 15 pounds on my best 5, I call that a good day.
Right.
Because in most tournaments where there's not a slot involved, I'm going to be right there.
You're going to get a check in a lot of tournaments like that. Now, there's some where you're not.
Right.
Around here especially, there's some where you're not even going to be close.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell you on Lake Palestine.
The deal is people are like, oh, man, it takes 30 pounds to win there. No, not every time. Folks, 30 pounds over 4 days is 120 pounds. You know how many times on the Elite Series it's taken 120 pounds to win a 4-day tournament? Once.
Yeah.
Like, no, you don't catch 30 pounds every day. Nobody does.
Well, and I caught myself saying that earlier this year, too. Like, we had that March tournament on Palestine. And I was like, man, it's going to take at least 40 pounds on 2 days. It took 21 pounds for 2 days. Like, they don't always, the fish don't always cooperate.
They usually don't.
Right.
They usually don't. So, now let's talk about day 2. What happened on day 2? At the
so, Group B, Skeet Reese led the field day 2. Oh, Skeet.
It always cracks me up when I know, there's Skeet Reese, and then I know a guy around here named Skeeter Fowler. And all these guys named Skeeter, none of them run Skeeters. Like, how are you going to be named Skeet or Skeeter and not fish out of a Skeeter? That don't even make sense. Things that make you go, huh.
It's almost disgusting.
I'm just saying, it's odd. And Skeeter Fowler's run like 3 different boat brands, but never a Skeeter.
Yeah. And he's caught them out of every single one of them.
And he's from East Texas where Skeeters are made.
That's right.
That doesn't make any kind of sense.
Skeeter, if you're listening, go to Nautical Mile, bro.
Yeah, man. Go get you a Skeeter, dog. Quit playing around.
So
he's like 85 years old or whatever. I don't think we're changing him at this point. I don't know how old he is, but all his hair is white. Listen, for those that don't know, Skeeter's a good friend. Heck, his son's one of my best friends. His son lived next door to him for a long time, so I'm really good friends with Skeeter. So I'm giving him the jabs a little bit, but Skeeter's my dude.
So Skeet Reese led the field today. This happened today.
Okay, what do you have?
43 pounds, 8 ounces on 12 fish.
That's a good average. That's a good average. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good average.
Mark Rose, second, 38.09 on 11 fish with a 9.2. He is now leading big fish for heavy hitters.
Wow.
That is $25,000, I do believe.
For the biggest bass of this tournament?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Talk to me. There's a lot of money up for grabs in this event.
Yes,
there is.
Yes.
A lot.
Yeah. Total purse was $273,000.
Is that what it was? I don't know.
So.
I don't know the numbers.
I
know it's a lot.
But anyways. It's a lot.
Yeah.
David Walker in third, 37.05, and I made a joke at the beginning of this deal. I was just, I guess more or less what I was trying to say.
Don't defend it now.
Is David Walker?
Don't crawfish now.
Did you expect to see David Walker in the top 5? That's all I'm saying.
Not on this lake.
Okay, that was my entire point.
David Walker's known as more of a current fisherman.
Correct.
But hey, they're fishing current. Zach Burge was fishing current. So.
But then listen to the drop off here. So Skeet, Mark Rose, and David Walker. Mark Rose caught 11 fish. David Walker caught 13. So he actually caught the most in his group. Skeet Reese caught 12. He had a little bit better average.
Okay.
And then in fourth, you had Jeff Crete, who caught 8 fish for 25 pounds. So there's a 12-pound swing between third and fourth.
That's a big drop.
Yeah. David Dudley, welcome to the party, sir. 20 pounds, 12 ounces in fifth on 7 fish. Jonathan Van Dam, 20 pounds, 1 ounce on 7 fish. James Elam in seventh, 19.13 on 5. Chris Lane, 19.10 on 6.
He'll make it through.
Jeff Sprague, 18.14, 6. And Tock, 18.6 on 5. That rounds out the top 10 for Group B.
Well, Tock tends to do good in Florida. You know it? Tock always. A lot of the Lake Fork guys tend to do good on Florida. You talked to me, you referenced Lee earlier on the Elite Series last year on the St. Johns River.
Yep.
Kelly Jordan's notorious over the years for being good in Florida. Tock is really good on Florida. All these guys that are like homeboys from Lake Fork all do good in Florida. Dean Rojas was a Lake Fork hand for a long time, and he set the single bag record down there in Florida. So,
listen to this. MDJ finished 16th. He had 2 fish for 12 pounds, 5 ounces.
Methiolate's catching them bigs.
Dude.
I wonder if he caught him on that methiolate worm. I doubt it.
He had to have.
But he had to. Old methiolate Daniels Jr. He will never live that down. Around here, for all of us Lake Fork homies.
That's right.
Lake Fork locals. He will never live down that methiolate worm.
No. And you know what's funny? it's amazing the amount of tackle shops that I've seen that thing in since that event.
It's amazing how many of them were sold out of it. Like every time they get some new orange trick worms in, they'd be gone.
Oh, dude.
Like, it was stupid.
That's funny.
I don't know. I don't think Zoom is writing MDJ a check, but by God, they owe him one after that event because, man, they sold a lot of orange trick worms around here.
They need to just send him a check and on the subject line say, "You know what you did."
Yeah, you know what you did. You know what this is for. So what's going to happen the rest of this tournament? Because we're only through the first 2 days as of the recording of this podcast. Birds look solid. I think Birds looks real solid. Are they staying on the same body of water even on the championship day?
So it's the.
Are they changing bodies of water? We don't know. I'm going to tell you, if they stay on the same body of water, Zach Burge is catching so many more fish. And listen, bro, I'm going to tell you, these shallow water current deals this time of year, on like what he's fishing, he's not running out of fish.
Right.
There are brand new fish constantly funneling into those areas, not even day to day, within the same day.
Correct.
Like within the same day, there's fish funneling into those areas. So, man, I just think Zach Burge has got a really good chance to kind of step up and win this deal and kind of win it. You can't run away with tournaments in MLF because the weights reset twice. Mm-hmm. But I would have a really hard time seeing him, especially, look, so here's what's going to happen. He's got a great pattern that regenerates. I mean, that current deal, those fish come to it throughout the day. New fish show up all the time on that deal. So he's in great shape there. So he's going to fish second day of this deal. He goes out and wins that round. He's going to bypass into the championship round. Now, not only does he have a great regenerating type of deal, but he gets a day for his fish to rest before the final day. And it's like,
that's right.
Like if they stay on that same body of water throughout the whole thing,
y'all fishing for second, boys.
Like I don't see him lose. Like I think he's catching so many more fish than everybody else.
I think a lot of the field is going to. I'm not going to say close the gap, but I think they're going to.
Sure, they'll find their groove. I'll tell you one that ought to scare him is Thrift, because Thrift's fishing offshore. Thrift's fishing that shallow offshore deal, and that deal, but the deal with Thrift is those fish can move and leave, and he's got to go find new ones. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that's the whole. It's just like what we talked about on Lake Fork earlier. We're getting into that time of year where these summer patterns really set in, and those main lake offshore structure fish can move around on you from when you got to kind of hunt them down, and you got to run your electronics till you find them that day. But those fish that are back in these shallow water areas that are living in these depressions and these ditches and these current, like in Burge's situation, they're living on current funnel points where they get more oxygen. Mm-hmm. Those fish they're not just going to pick up and move from this current break and then go all the way over here to this current break.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I'm fully aware.
Like, I mean, the Thrift deal, if he hits it, he can. Because the deal with what, Thrift is doing it, John Murray's doing it. Mm-hmm. Several of those guys are doing it. If they get on that right magical stretch on the Florida Lake,
Jordan Lee's offshore too.
If they get on the right, and I'm sure Wheeler is. I don't know.
He was kind of doing both. He was doing both.
That doesn't surprise me because you never know where he's going to end up. I will say Wheeler's another one though. If he gets on an offshore deal and gets him going,
you better get scared.
You better hold on. So, but one of those guys could run into the right offshore deal on the final day. That's like what we sold out to Lake Athens.
Right.
That's the thing that makes this format so interesting. As long as you qualify, you're never out of it. It resets. And then we get to the final day in that top 10, and one of these, a couple of these offshore guys, one of them finds that right spot with that right group of fish pulled up on it, and all of a sudden they catch, 3 or 4 over 5, 6, 7 pounds in a row.
It's a pretty good jump start.
And they create a 15 or 20 pound gap on the field. Everybody else starts freaking out. Now, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. It's always, if you notice in a lot of these tournaments, if you watch it live, these BPT tournaments, whenever somebody's lighting up the score tracker like that, you hear a lot of motors fire up.
It affects what they're doing.
Correct.
And sometimes it makes them make a good decision, and
Correct.
sometimes it makes them make a bad decision.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't leave fish to find fish, but I think in a deal like this on a big fish
I said you
lake,
never leave a fish just to find more fish.
Well, I think in an event like this, you kind of got to abandon that sometimes because it's a big fish
For
lake.
all my old school Mark Zona fans, you will appreciate that song because that's an old Mark Zona Kevin Van Dam reference there.
Yep. So, wait, I got a question for you.
I got an answer for you, homie.
I hope you do.
You know I always do.
So, we talked about my punishment. I've got the best idea.
Okay, give me your idea. Can't wait to hear this.
This is what I wear to my tournament. I already ordered them.
You already ordered them. Show it to the camera for the ones that are actually watching. What Chris is displaying right
y'all
now
think about that?
would be Jort overalls
That's right. And I'm going to cut them shorter than that.
with the American flag all over them, like the whole thing's an American flag.
That's right. And then I'm going to get me some...
I don't think you should be able to pick your own clothes, though. I think you
pretty
should
good,
have to
though.
wear jorts, your jorts that I've seen.
Okay.
An unbuttoned Hawaiian shirt with lightning bolts in the side of your head and purple Crocs.
The problem is I looked up purple Crocs,
Okay.
and the only purple Crocs I can find say LSU on them.
You got to get... We'll give them to Dylan and Zach when we're done. Got to do it. Got to do it. Got to do it. We'll put tape over the LSU while you wear them. Because I know you're such an Aggies fan.
It's like it's blasphemy. It
Hurts
really
your
is.
heart. We'll just tape over the LSU while you wear them. Then we'll give them to Dylan and Zach when you're done. But you got to wear the jorts, a Hawaiian shirt, fully unbuttoned, and lightning bolts.
I will wear them, and I will not tape over the LSU as long as we can take a white marker and write "sucks" under it,
Perfect.
and then we can give it to Dylan and Zach.
Yeah, even better. Even better.
Because
But we got to get on that, dude. Like, we got to do
I
these
know.
punishments.
Well, I got a tournament June 20th on Lake Tawakoni.
Okay, we got to do that.
I am fully prepared to
That's-
wear that outfit.
Great weather to wear jorts and an unbuttoned shirt.
Yeah,
And I got to cut lightning bolts in your head, and you let that hair keep growing.
and I need sunscreen.
You're going to need a lot of sunscreen.
Golly.
You're going to look like powder walking off the boat ramp in the morning.
Actually, I'm pretty tan down low, but the jort
No, I'm
line
saying,
isn't
like,
quite established.
We're going to put so much sunscreen on you.
Can it
It's
be
just
the
gonna
kind
be
that doesn't wipe in? And just have
with
my
calcium
nose?
stuff?
Yeah.
You're just going to have pasty white stuff all over your body. Yes, you're gonna look like powder wearing jorts and a Hawaiian shirt and lightning bolts, baby.
Cameron, you better wear sunglasses.
We got to make sure. No, you know what we got to do? We got to make sure on the lightning bolts right here that calcium stuff you're talking about on your nose. We got to put that on that freshly shaven lightning bolt as
Oh
well,
my God.
so it shows up bright white. Oh, I think that's gonna do it for tonight's podcast, folks. Hey, listen, we're ending it on a light note. It's funny, and that is real funny. But before we do that, man, I would like to say, listen, guys, please do consider what we talked about tonight with Cody about Chauncey Mays and Hart. Remember that for us, and we'll come back. Drop us a comment. Let us know what you thought about the military remembrance segment that we're going to try and do for the next few weeks until we have our Forever Grateful tournament on July 4th and 5th.
That's right.
Hey, and if you want to meet this knucklehead, who most of y'all never get to meet, he'll be there. He's going to be helping us with the tournament. He's going to be helping us run things. So you can come meet. Scratch the tournament. You have
That's
to
where I'm wearing
wear
it?
your punishment
I knew that was coming.
at the Forever Grateful tournament. That's what's going to happen.
Perfect. Even better.
That is even better. So all you guys,
Because you know me, I have no problem wearing the
all
jorts.
you guys that don't think that we follow through on our punishments can see it firsthand if you come
Yeah.
to the Forever Grateful tournament July 4th and 5th.
That's right.
Nails.
Oh, I'll be. Boy.
Nailed it. You'll have some good growth on that dome piece by then. I can cut them lightning bolts into.
Yeah, I'll get what is it now? It's June 8th. Okay, so yeah, we'll be good.
All right, guys, we appreciate you listening to us tonight. Like I said, drop some comments. Let me know what you thought of tonight's episode. And Chris, do that thing you do.
Holla at your boys, just don't scream.
That's pretty good. I like that one.